In this video, I'm going to show you how to clean, lubricate, and maintain your Next Wave Shark CNC machine. I'll also let you know how often you have to do it. The first tip is, when you're not using your CNC machine, keep it covered. This will prevent dust and debris from your other woodworking projects from getting all over the CNC machine. You're going to want to clean and lubricate the rails and the lead screw after every 8 to 12 hours of use. Next, you want to remove all the dust and debris from the machine. The simplest way to do it would be using a compressor. Now, the first thing we have to clean off are the rails. Even if I use a compressor, I still use a rag to get the fine dust off. Now be aware, at the very top and the very bottom of the rail, there's a groove. This groove is where the bearings run in, so you've got to make sure you get all dust and debris out of this groove. In order to do this, I put a rag around my hands and I put my fingers in the shape of a C, and I put my thumb and my finger into the grooves and run the rag back and forth inside the grooves. Just like this. Do the same thing with the lower rail. Next, be sure to move the spindle over to the side so you can clean the other side of the rails. Normally when I'm cleaning the machine, I leave it turned on to make it easier to move the gantry back and forth when I'm cleaning. But for the sake of this video, I'm turning it off. That way you don't have to hear the fan noise from the VFD. So the next thing we have to clean is the lead screw. Now you can clean the lead screw with a soft brush. Make sure you get all the debris out in the grooves. You can also use a soft rag. Again, make sure you get all the debris out from inside of the grooves. Now I've found a much simpler way to clean the lead screw. It's a product called gear floss. This is what the gear floss looks like. In order to use the gear floss, you simply wrap it around the lead screw a few times and then spin it back and forth as you move it down the lead screw. And as you can see, it quickly and easily removes all dirt and debris from the lead screw. And the really cool thing is, once your gear floss gets really dirty, as this one is, you can simply put it into a sink or a bowl with some dish detergent, wash it, let it dry, and it's totally reusable. Now the next thing we're going to do is lubricate the rails and the lead screw. Now the reason we clean them really thoroughly before we lubricate is you don't want to have any type of dust or debris on them and then get them wet with the lubricant, because then what's going to happen is it's going to get pulled into the bearings and it's going to have your bearings prematurely wear. So again, make sure that everything's thoroughly clean before you lubricate. Now before I lubricate, I like to protect the spoil board by putting a plastic trash bag on top of it. Now this is the product that Next Wave recommends for lubricating the machine. It's DuPont silicone and it contains Teflon. Now as an alternative, you can use Blaster silicone lubricant. This used to contain Teflon, but they've removed it, but it still works fine. Now both of these lubricants are known as a dry lubricant, and we use a dry lubricant because we don't want to attract any dust to the rails or the lead screw. Now there's a couple different ways you can apply the lubricant to the rails. Simply spray it on directly. Make sure you get the grooves below and above the rail. Another way is to saturate a paper towel or a rag with the lubricant, and then you can rub it onto the rail. Make sure, again, getting inside the top and lower grooves. Once the rag is saturated with lubricant, you don't have to worry about getting lint or anything off the paper towel. In order to lubricate the lead screw, I put a paper towel behind it in order to reduce overspray, and I simply spray the silicone directly onto the lead screw to get thorough coating. Now next, be sure to move the spindle to the other side. That way you can lubricate the rails and the lead screw on the other side. Next, we're going to run the spindle housing back and forth along the x-axis in order to distribute the lubricant. You want to go back and forth a couple times. You're going to want to clean and lubricate the rails and the lead screw after every 8 to 12 hours of use. Next, we want to remove any excess lubricant from the rails and the lead screw. Use a rag and go back and forth. Remember to get the grooves on the top and the bottom of the rail. And then do the same thing with the lead screw. So now that we're done cleaning and lubricating the x-axis, we're going to do the same thing to the z-axis, the up and down axis. We have to make sure we wipe all the dust and debris off the rails, being sure to get the grooves on each side of the rail. Do the same thing on the other side. And then we have to clean the lead screw. Again, my preferred method for cleaning the lead screw is by using the gear floss. Once clean, we lubricate the rails, being sure to get both sides of the grooves. Then I lubricate the lead screw. And next we're going to run the z-axis up and down in order to distribute the lubricant. And just as before, we're going to remove all the excess lubricant. Now we've completed cleaning and lubricating the rails and the lead screw on the x-axis and the rails and the lead screw on the z-axis. Again, the recommendation is to do this between every 8 to 12 hours of use. Now the next thing that needs to be done is we have to grease the linear bearings. Now the machine has 4 linear bearings. There are 2 linear bearings located on the z-axis. This is the bearing on the right Z rail, and here is the grease fitting. There's also one located on the left rail. There are also 2 bearings located on the x-axis rails. Here's an opening so you can lube the top rail bearing, and here's the other opening so you can get to the bottom rail bearing. Now when I got my machine about 5 years ago, the recommendation from NextWave was to grease these bearings roughly after every 40 hours of use. Since then, they've updated that. I contacted NextWave and I got this updated guide. It says after every 8 to 12 hours of use, grease the linear bearings more often as needed. Now since I keep my machine clean, I found that I only need to lubricate these bearings roughly every 20 to 30 hours. Again, it might be different with your machine, so check it every 8 to 12 and see if it needs to be greased. Now you need to use a thin grease to lubricate these bearings, and NextWave recommends Mobile EP1 grease. You can obtain the grease directly from NextWave. It's easiest to lubricate the machine with a small grease gun. Again, NextWave sells these grease guns. You can also obtain the same grease gun at Harbor Freight. So next we have to get the grease from the mobile grease container into the grease gun grease holder. NextWave and a lot of other videos on YouTube recommend using a spoon. They show you spooning it out of the mobile container and putting it into the holder here. I found a much easier and cleaner way of doing it. I simply purchased a standard size grease gun. I put the mobile grease canister into it, and I simply pump it into the smaller canister for the small grease gun. It makes it a lot easier and a lot cleaner. You've dropped thousands of dollars into this wonderful CNC machine. Spend another $25 to make your life easier. Now once you've put the grease into the smaller canister, be sure to push it down and keep it compressed and remove all the air pockets. Now the linear bearings have a very tiny Zerk fitting, so in order to get the grease from the grease gun into the bearing, you need to have an adapter. NextWave recommends and sells the 6mm adapter. As you can see, it's got a concave tip. The adapter simply sits over the Zerk fitting and you apply pressure and then put the grease in. Now the problem is, it's tough to get a good seal with this adapter over the Zerk fitting, and you end up getting more grease outside of the bearing than you do getting in it. Now a solution I found was using an adapter with a needle point. Now unlike the 6mm adapter that sits over the Zerk fitting, the needle point goes into the tiny hole, and all of the grease that you pump goes into the bearing. Now another advantage of using the needle adapter is it's got a sleeve, and if you pull the sleeve forward, it gives you a little flexibility in getting a different angle, which is really going to help, especially when you're trying to get to the bearings on the X rails, which are located behind the spindle housing. Now you put the adapter into the Zerk fitting and you pump approximately 2 to 3 times. Now don't be alarmed if you see some excess grease coming out through the back of the bearing. That's expected. Now we come to the other side and we do the bearing on the left side of the Z-axis. You then put the adapter onto the fitting on the Z-axis bearing. Again, it's very difficult to show you because it's behind the housing here. But you get it on there and you pump in 2 to 3 pumps. Then you go down and you do the lower rail bearing. Same thing, 2 to 3 pumps of grease. Now in order to clean up the grease residue, I use these extra long cotton swabs. You can get a whole pack of them at Harbor Freight. They're very inexpensive. You just clean up the grease residue, and then you can use the longer one to get the residue off of the grease fitting in the back. Now that all the bearings are lubricated, you want to move the spindle along both the Z and the X axis in order to spread out the lubricant. And lastly, you want to check the rails for any excess grease that might have gotten on there. If you see any blobs of grease, just kind of remove them. Again, you're going to have to come up with your own interval of how often you grease the linear bearings. You might want to start off by doing it every 8 to 12 hours. Just try a couple of pumps of grease. If you find that it's not taking that much, you might want to extend that time to every 20 to 30 hours like I do. The important thing is to make sure you keep those bearings greased. If you don't, they're eventually going to seize up. Now every 40 hours of use, NextWave recommends a deep cleaning of the rails and the lead screws. They recommend a mild solvent such as mineral spirits. And you can put it on a rag and wipe down the rails, making sure you get the grooves above and below. And with the lead screw, I found that it's best you can take a paper cup and put the mineral spirits in there, dip a soft bristled brush, and then clean it that way. Or if you do go using the gear floss, you can take a cup, put some mineral spirits in it, soak the gear floss, and again, wrap it around, and then spin the gear floss and deep clean inside the grooves of the lead screws. Once you've deep cleaned the rails and the lead screws on both the X-axis and the Z-axis, you'll need to reapply the silicone lube to the rails and the lead screws, again on both the X-axis and the Z-axis rails and lead screws. Also, after 40 hours of use, it's now time to clean and lubricate the Y-axis tubular rails beneath the machine. Let me show you how to do it. Now, I've seen some videos on YouTube where some people recommend just taking the spray lubricant and spraying it through the slot in the side shield in order to lubricate the tubular Y-axis rails. That's a mistake. Don't do it. Even though the bearings underneath the machine on the Y-axis are sealed, you don't want to mix the lubricant with any dust that might be on those rails. It's going to turn into a slurry and eventually get sucked into those bearings. You've got to thoroughly clean the lead screws and the Y tubular rails. Let me show you how. Now, the first thing you have to do is remove the side shields. This requires removing 4 screws, and then you could pull the shield and slide it front to back. Now, I've come up with an upgrade to my machine that makes it much easier. I've actually removed the screws and I put rare earth magnets on there. I can just pull my shield and completely release it. Once again, I recommend sliding a plastic bag underneath the machine in order to catch any lubricant that drips down. You next get a clean rag and you wipe down the Y tubular rails on each side of the machine. Then you have to reach deep in there and try to get your hands on the lead screw. Again, wipe it down with the rag. Now you have easier access to the Y rails and you can just spray them from the outside. In order to spray the lead screw in the center of the machine underneath, I found these long spray extenders online, and you can connect it to the silicone spray can, and then you can just reach under and get to the lead screw much easier and spray it down. Just like the upper rails and lead screw, once you've lubricated the lower Y rails and lead screw, make sure you run the machine back and forth along the Y-axis a few times to distribute the lubrication. Then make sure you wipe off any excess lubrication with a dry rag or towel. It's pretty difficult to get access to the lower part of the machine. The machine is really heavy, but I came up with a solution for this as well. As you can see, I now got my machine lifted up into the air by using construction jacks. There's plenty of clearance underneath the machine now where I can just reach under there and get much easier access. Much easier to clean the Y rails as well as the lead screw. I even have plenty of clearance where I can use the gear floss wrapped around the lead screw and clean that even more thoroughly. Now, at the 40-hour mark of using the machine, it might be a good idea to do a deep cleaning on the rails as well as the lead screw by cleaning with the mineral spirits. You can use a brush or you can use the gear floss on the lead screw, but wipe it all down and then lubricate. Once again, once you've cleaned and lubricated the Y rails underneath the machine, run the machine back and forth on the Y-axis a few times in order to distribute the lubrication. And just as before, get a clean rag and wipe down any excess lubrication off of the Y tubular rails and the lead screw in the center. And that's pretty much it. On a side note, I keep a log of all of my projects and exactly how long it took to cut them. And now it gives me a really good reference. I know exactly when it's time to perform my maintenance. I hope this video helped you. Thanks for watching.